Hello, welcome to A Few Minutes with Jonah. I'm Buddy Pennington, pastor of Westville Assembly of God in Holmes County, Florida. I'll be your host and moderator for this study. Going to be reading to you from Jonah chapter number 1 and verse number 3 for this part of the video series on the book of Jonah. This is lesson number 1 and part 2. I'll be reading to you from the King James Version of this particular part, so allow me to do that for you now. But Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and went down to Joppa. And he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it, to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. That's interesting to note that when God called Jonah to go cry out against the wicked city of Nineveh, his immediate reaction was not to go to Nineveh. Now, there was no love lost between the city of Nineveh, which was the capital of the Assyrian Empire, and the land of Israel. The Assyrians had oppressed the Israelites numerous times, and they were no friends to them. So when God called upon Jonah to go tell Nineveh that they were going to be destroyed and that they needed to realize that God was going to judge them for all of their wickedness, his immediate response was, instead of going to tell them and warn them about what was coming, he was going to leave. Now, he decided that he was going to go down to Joppa, and he found a ship going to Tarshish from Joppa, bought a ticket, and went down into the ship to make out his journey to get away from the presence of God. Now, we need to know something about what he was doing. Joppa is on the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Tarshish is believed to have been in the area of the Straits of Gibraltar on the southern part of Spain, north of Morocco. It is a distance of approximately 2,500 miles. Jonah was trying to get just as far away from Nineveh as he felt like he could possibly go and stay in the known world. Isn't it interesting that Jonah is not the only person who has ever tried to get away from God's call to go do something? Some of you who are watching this video may have been guilty, like I have been guilty, of not wanting to do something that God wanted us to do. And we thought we would turn to some other source in order to be able to flee from the presence of God. I cannot tell you how many people that I have met who are ministers of the gospel of God who told me that they ran from their calling for years. They tried to go away from God through their careers, through their hobbies, through their families, through travel, through numerous things, but none of them were ever able to escape the call of God. And we'll find out later in the study that Jonah was in that same boat, so to speak, and we'll talk about the boat in the next lesson's part. It's our prayer that these studies are going to be a blessing to you. Allow me to encourage you to share a link to these videos to your friends. Also would encourage you to visit our Facebook page, which is Westville AG at 2513 Cypress Street. May God richly bless you until the next time whenever we get together for a few minutes with Jonah.